an electrical engineer, and then into IT. And from there, in 2000, believing in Indian manufacturing, entered material handling as an entrepreneur manufacturing. Right now, heading the Daifuku Intralogistics India, we are having with us Srinivas Garimella. Daifuku is a Japanese company. We have seen that Japanese are very orthodox and they do not compromise on their quality. So many times we have seen that these Japanese companies import their products here. And now Daifuku is going more about Make in India. You are having a factory, and moreover Daifuku is expanding. Why Daifuku is not importing but making in India?
The India manufacturing growth story actually started way back in the 1990s, but for various government policies it took a back seat now. The last 6-7 years, thanks to COVID plus the Indian government policies of trying to push manufacturing contribution of India's GDP to 22%, we have many of these policies changed to help Indian manufacturing ecosystem. And last 6-7 years we have seen that manufacturing has slowly picked up, and Daifuku sensing that it needs to be a market leader. And to be a market leader, what should do is not just be dependent on import, but be able to locally manufacture so that we get the best of systems, the best of quality, equal to Japanese quality systems, available to Indian customers at a very reasonable price. Keeping that in mind, Daifuku acquired Vega. I'm the founder member of Vega, and Vega was acquired in 2019. We partnered together in some Indian projects, so 2 or 3 of them, and they found our quality systems to be good. Since 2019, we have been servicing the Indian customer needs with the Japanese systems. But now with the inflection point reaching where we require to service more and more customers, and that too with quick turnaround time, Daifuku thought it's best to invest in India. They have come out with a very large scale of investment, about 450 crores in 2 phases. We are starting with a big factory at Telangana state, which will have state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, churning out metal handling equipment that encompasses regular automation equipment to a very large-scale automation equipment. And we want to adopt the best of practices, manufacturing practices, as well as quality systems of Japan in our Indian ecosystem.
You were an IT engineer at one point of time. From there, that trust and belief in Indian manufacturing made you to enter into your entrepreneur journey. You founded Vega, you established it, and at one point of time, Daifuku decided to collaborate with you and then completely acquire Vega. Why Vega for Daifuku?
Like I just now said, Indian manufacturing was supposed to have picked up late 1990s, but some of a sudden reason it didn't. And service industry, as you know, the IT industry started growing at high double digits. For a brief period during the UPA 1 regime between 2004 to 2008, manufacturing did pick up. In fact, we had manufacturing growth of 9-10%. But then post Lehman Brothers collapse, manufacturing again took a backseat. For the last 4-5 years, we realized that to be able to create good number of jobs, we need to focus much on manufacturing, right? I was from the service industry, IT industry. And I quickly jumped into manufacturing, believing that, we should play a part in terms of India's growth, in terms of job creation, to ensure that, our GDP grows like China. And that's how China picked up. China picked up only because of manufacturing trust. So I believed in the India story. That's how we started getting into metal handling equipment and the manufacturing of the same. Now, from the beginning, if you have to excel in manufacturing, if you have to do well in manufacturing, you have to produce world-class quality systems. And Vega, from the beginning, was focusing on trying to get the best solutions and systems being produced locally to prove that, yes, Indians also have the capability to produce world-class systems. That's how we started off. Of course, a very long and arduous journey, but believing that we can produce, believing and spurring people on reskilling and upskilling people to ensure that the engineering quality is enhanced and that we have the best of systems, took a toll. And then fortunately for us, when we collaborated with Daifuku for a couple of Indian projects in 2016 and 17, we found culturally that Japanese and Indians do have certain number of manufacturing culture, which was not honed in India but was honed in Japan. Japan and Germany had that manufacturing culture imbibed into each and every person there. India, we, even though very good manufacturers centuries ago, we somehow could not continue, but I'm sure with deep in our DNA we have that. So sensing that and seeing our passion towards manufacturing, Daifuku wanted to acquire Vega, and he solely talked to them.
And I think there is no other approval or a certificate or an award you can get as a manufacturer that a Japanese company that also more than 100 years and a global #1 company decided to acquire you means that was the basic quality what you have taken out through Vega. As now you are a Japanese company. Now how challenging it is to bring that Japanese manufacturing methodology in the Indian scenario.
Japanese have a wonderful culture, and I can relate it very well because I've read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita focuses on one thing. Lord Krishna always said, focus on your process, focus on your systems, focus on your dharma, do your duty, result will automatically follow. True. The Japanese have to truly function in that style. They don't bother about outcome. I mean, outcome is obviously assured when you follow the systems, process and procedures. So there's a huge thrust on focus on doing the right way. Result will automatically follow. Whereas a lot of people focus on result, go for the result. So hence the systems, processes and procedures not followed, they resort to shortcut because they want the result quickly. But Japan has taught us that yes, you focus on your process, systems, procedures, the result will automatically be correct. So that philosophy, the Hindu philosophy that we talk about, Bhagavad Gita philosophy, somehow got resonated with the Japanese way of working. So as it is in Vega, we follow the philosophy. Now it is an extension of that. Obviously, qualitatively and quantitatively, the kind of systems that Japan has is much more mature. Daifuku is a 100-year-old company, right? And so their systems are very mature. But it was not difficult to imbibe that culture because it was in us, in a DNA. All we need to is bring it to the fore. So now we are marrying those process systems of Daifuku in Vega. Now Vega is, the company name also has been changed to Daifuku Intralogistics India. So the cultural transformation has already taken shape, and I'm sure with a new factory coming up and people getting trained, both reskilled and upskilled, I'm sure we can get the Japanese quality product and services locally available to our Indian customers.
Shared a great interesting insight about the kind of growth manufacturing in India is having last 6-7 years, and the kind of investment what Daifuku is doing is quite large, which can run for years. So you definitely will have a plan. One of the things what we hear always is about no skill. So definitely Daifuku is going to give a lot of solutions for the industry through automation. But for you also, you need people, industry need people. So that is a big challenge, and where Daifuku sees that kind of role you can play in that.
Daifuku is a market leader. The world over, it's number one, $4.8 to $5 billion company, the largest metal handling companies in the world. It's number one in Japan and number one in a few other countries. And naturally, it is poised to become the market leader in India too. And that's their ambition. I'm sure it's a matter of time before we see India as being number one, right? Now, when you talk about why is this kind of investment that Daifuku is talking about, obviously, India's GDP is the highest among the major economies, right? Now, the second thing that is pushing us to grow faster is again the China Plus One policy. So most of the Western world is looking at an alternative to China. And luckily, we have positioned ourselves pretty well to fit into a slot there. So the kind of investment Daifuku is talking about is phase-wise. Right? They're talking about a 450 crore investment in the next few years. We're starting off with about 230 crores now. We're coming out with a big project in Telangana, a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility. And to ensure that we have a good workman pipeline of skilled workforce and engineers, we have adopted a couple of ITIs and engineering colleges. In fact, our corporate social responsibility program runs in one of the ITI colleges very close to our factory in Vikarabad district in Telangana, where we have set up a welding shop, we have set up donated welding equipment, we have donated some lab for fitters, and we are also thinking of sending our production engineers to train those ITI fitters so that we can absorb that. Daifuku wants to give back to the Indian society in some way for all the investment that we're doing. We also want a total ecosystem also to develop. So this 450 crores investment is largely going towards production. We're going to produce state-of-the-art equipment, starting from normal automation equipment to a very large-scale automation. We're going to produce SRMs, we're going to produce STVs, all range of conveyors, sortation solutions, the complete gamut of metal handling equipment we want to be able to manufacture from that facility in Telangana over a period of time. Right now we have localized STVs, we have localized conveyors. So as we go along, we're going to localize some part of SRMs as well. When I say localization, I'm talking about anything which is 60% plus is localization. 40% still, of course, is going to be imported from Japan because all the critical equipment, we want to ensure that we get the best of the world equipment. So that 40-50% will be from Japan, another 40-50% from India. So that's how the plan is, and set out to become the market leader next 10 years. This is one small step towards that.
This is the growth story what India is having. There are so many great entrepreneurs who believed in India, who trusted in Indians and established certain products, companies, and we are going global. Thank you, Srinivas Garu, for your great time. We enjoyed it. I'm sure that your insights will definitely help many people to take the right steps and manufacture in India, make in India. Thank you for your wonderful time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.